This morning, banks and small businesses and the SBA are still trying to sort through slowdowns and issues with the Paycheck Protection Program after it reopened yesterday. But that's just the latest glitch in the small business relief program that has left millions of small businesses without a safety net. But PPP accounts for just about 25% of the relief doled out by Congress so far, with other funds going to big business, hospitals, individuals, and testing. That means there's more than $1 trillion of additional money where we don't know exactly what's going on behind the scenes, even if it's going to those who need it most. Joining me now, someone who is responsible for overseeing part of that nearly $2 trillion, Bharat Ramamurthy. He's a member of the Congressional Oversight Commission appointed by Senator Chuck Schumer. Also here to discuss oversight, Kurt Bardella, a former spokesperson for the House Oversight Committee and an MSNBC contributor. Bharat, trillions are being given out. To me, I don't see much oversight. What's going on?
Well, as you said, there's going to be trillions of dollars pumped into the economy over the next weeks by the Treasury and the Federal Reserve. And the main question is that money going to help working families in America, or is it primarily going to go to help executives and shareholders? And I think the key for the Oversight Commission that I'm on is to examine whether that money is being used to help working families so that we can have the kind of broad-based economic recovery that we all want.
How much power do you actually have? And are you going to be examining it before the money's doled out or after? Because let's be honest, after, that's too late.
We have significant power. Recently, the Federal Reserve announced that it would disclose the names of all the companies that were receiving money through this program, which allows us to do near real-time oversight. So no, we don't have the ability before the Federal Reserve has made those loans to stop it. But what we do have is the ability to examine it in real time and to promote changes to the program. So as I said, that money is more likely to go to keeping workers employed, keeping them out of unemployment, keeping them attached to their health insurance during the middle of this crisis.
Kurt, what are your biggest oversight concerns right now?
Well, I think, Stephanie, one of the things that concerns me overall is we have seen a pattern of this administration not ever complying with oversight. When anyone speaks out of turn, they get fired, as we saw in the case the last couple of weeks with some of the inspectors general. And I think one of the key tenets of oversight is not just knowing where the money is going, but getting into why did that money go there in the first place. And I think that what the American people are going to want to know is who was a part of some of these decisions to allow some of these loans to go out to people who, frankly, should not have been receiving them in the first place. And I think the big test is going to be whether or not this president and some people in his administration are willing to cooperate and comply with the oversight mechanisms that have been put in place. We saw that on the day that the first coronavirus fund was signed, President Trump put out a statement saying that he had no intention of complying with some of these oversight mechanisms. He was going to blow them off, didn't think they were necessary. And that was a really concerning thing to hear when you have this much money being dispersed. I remember, Stephanie, Republicans, when Obama was president and in charge of the stimulus, doing aggressive oversight, accusing him of being lawless, an emperor, using the money for propaganda. I'd like to see that same vigilance from Republicans right now.
Bharat, given that that is the president's position, given that this administration doesn't really acknowledge subpoenas, are you concerned that you're not going to be able to get the job done?
No, I think that we have a lot of tools at our disposal, and we should be creative about how we use them. We can work with other congressional committees that do have subpoena power to get the documents that we need. And look, at the end of the day, the most important oversight tool is explaining to the public exactly what's happening with its money so that there is the public can weigh in and push Congress, push Treasury and the Fed to change the way that they're acting. And I view a role of the main role of the Congressional Oversight Commission as that public education. Let me just, to go to Kurt's point, the other reason that the Oversight Commission is so important is because it is the only oversight body that's created in that bill by Congress that President Trump can't tamper with directly, either by appointing members to the body or by removing members to the body. And he's already done both of those to the other oversight bodies. So the Oversight Commission that I'm on, all the members are appointed by Congress. It's accountable to Congress and to the people. And therefore, I think it's the most important oversight body that's created in the bill.
Can we talk about what is public information? Because all of the money that is being doled out is from the United States government. And I want to share a piece from the New York Times, Kurt, where it's talking about PPP, and it says the government is not disclosing who receives aid, leaving it up to individual companies to decide whether to disclose that they obtained loans. That makes a full accounting of the loan program impossible. Why would that be the rule? Why is it that people like me have to look under rocks and call strangers to find out who is getting loans? This makes absolutely no sense.
It doesn't make sense, Stephanie, and I think it's a blatant effort to hide where this money is going and why. Now, some entities are being more transparent, like the Fed, in disclosing where some of their money is going. But a lot of the entities, Treasury, for instance, are not being that forthcoming. And it's such a departure from what we saw from the Obama administration. When they did the stimulus, they created a website so that the American people could go and see where that money was going. For better or worse, whether they agreed with it or not, they could track every dollar. And when you're talking about the taxpayers' money, as Republicans were so fond of saying before, the American people have a fundamental right to know what is going on with their money, where it is going. And furthermore, we have to know what was behind the decision-making process, if there even is one. Because I think one of the big concerns is when you have a president who has so many financial interests and things are so transactional, what's to stop someone that has a campaign contributor relationship with this president to call up the president, the White House administration, and say, we need this loan, we need it now? Are people that have a political relationship with this president disproportionately getting benefits from this fund when other small businesses aren't?
You know what that means, Bharat? It means you got your work cut out for you. We're going to leave it there. You better come back soon. Both